Hello and welcome to this latest episode of Chasing Creativity. I'm Kiran Manral and today I'm chatting with Jimmy Shergill, who we all love for the very nuanced layers roles he does. Welcome to Chasing Creativity.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Pleasure.
It's wonderful to talk to you and your journey has been incredible. It's been very interesting that you started out with something that was, the traditional way of going about film. And tell me, how did films happen to you? You come from Punjab, you grew up in a different milieu. Why and how did filmdom happen to you?
So I don't think I'd ever thought that I'm going to get into films. I didn't have that option at that point of time. But when I was through with my graduation, I was supposed to go and follow my dreams and do MBA and stuff like that. And a sudden turn of events happened and I found myself in Mumbai. I came to Bombay for the first time and I saw that, oh wow, this is an amazing place and this is where I want to be. Nobody knows me over here. And I just want to be, because, we have been brought up in such a way that everywhere we would go, people knew us. There were some relatives, there was somebody, something, somewhere. If we went to Delhi and we were in a car, we would definitely cross some relative somewhere who would see what these kids are up to and all that, whatever. So the idea was that, oh my God, this place, nobody knows me. I can walk around in shorts and I can just go wherever and in my chappals and nobody will care a damn. And I loved it, and at that point of time when I saw the sea for the first time, it looked absolutely blue to me. It's only a few months later when I came to Bombay and I started taking the trains and everything, which I saw a very different side of Mumbai at that point of time, but it was too late by then. It had just kind of seeped into me, and I enjoyed that phase. I joined Taneja Saab's classes over here. So till then everything was more like dekhi jayegi jo hoga.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin, my bua's son, my first cousin, is the person responsible for this, because he was the only person who, my parents throughout were always like, go do what you want to do.
Okay.
I mean, it's not...
so there was none of the doctor, engineer बनना है pressure?
Maybe बचपन में कोई नहीं, प्रेशर कभी नहीं था.
Okay.
अपनी खुद की ड्रीम्स थी. तो क्रिकेट मैच देखते थे तो ऐसा लगता था क्रिकेटर ही बनना है. और उस टाइम पे ब्लैक एंड वाइट टीवी हुआ करते थे. आज कलर्ड में तो लोग और ज़्यादा उम्मीद करते होंगे मुझे यही बनना है. तो एंड देन देयर वाज व्हाट यू कॉल the graduation, and after graduation it was more like MBA is because I had done honors in BCom, and I thought that that's how my dad was trying to help me out in going abroad and doing my MBA over there. And then things took a turn, and my brother comes into the picture, and he's like, why don't we send him to Bombay? My dad, and he's like 10 years elder to me. So my dad loves him and, whatever, and has a lot of respect for him. And so he said that, you guys decide, you want to send him there, send him there. Now, what he saw in me that he wanted to send me to this thing, see, at that point of time, I was a fun guy. I used to love dancing at get-togethers and parties and everything like that, and saying dialogues and having a very
But
filmy...
there was no theatre background?
No theatre background, nothing. Had a little bit of a filmy touch to everything at that point of time. Maybe that is what kind of got into his mind, and he was like, why don't you go? I said, are you mad? I don't think I'm made for that. This all isn't fun that I do. But then he said one thing which made sense. He said, you're just going to go there for a few months, and you like it, it's fine. You don't like it, come back and go ahead with your MBA and everything like that. That's how I ended up coming to Bombay, and I never went back.
You never went back.
No.
Coming in from the outside in this industry, it must have been tough. You only had your talent, your work to push yourself.
I didn't even have the talent.
You didn't even
back
have the
then.
talent. You're being modest now.
I mean, I had not discovered it. I mean, I can say that today. I always tell everybody that when you want to join films or whatever you want to do, I think you should get trained for it and then come. It's going to make things easier for you.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you did the acting class with Roshan
Taneja Saab for about 1.5 years. I was with him, and during that time, I got a small role in Maachis, and that's how it all started. And Gulzar Saab told me that carry on with your classes, don't this thing them till we start shooting, because you need to have something to do. So in the first half of the day, we would do our classes, and the second half of the day would go in going to Gulzar Saab's office and being involved with the prep and everything.
But that was a wonderful role. And of course, you went on to do many other roles, wonderful roles after that. What I realized is somewhere along the line, after you did Maachis, you did Mohabbatein, you did Haasil, and then you decided to do very different kind of roles. And you sort of, it was the character that became important for you. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Was that a conscious decision for you, or did it just happen?
So see, what happened was after Maachis, I got a lot of calls from people, and when I would go and meet them, they would look at me and they would say, no, we want that Jimmy who was there in Maachis, that long hair and beard and everything like that. So I said, I'm the same guy. I grew that hair and the beard for that role which Gulzar Sahab told me to do, and then now I've shaved off because I'm doing something else right now, and I've got short hair and clean shaven. No, that's what we wanted. So everywhere that was the case, because they had seen that particular character in that movie, and they would place you like that, and they would want to this thing. But I'm glad that nothing worked out at that point of time, because there was nothing substantial at that point of time. And then Mohabbatein happened after 2-3 years, 4 years. And that's where it all started. And then I still remember that for almost 2 years I was working day and night, because there were films that I had signed, and I was very new to this industry, so I never knew that, suddenly things can get a little pushed also and postponed and everything, and then you got to accommodate that, and and having nobody to guide me over here, I had to just go through it myself. So there were times where you were doing a shoot in the daytime and then accommodating somebody else at night also for something else. And so that went on for 2 years. I mean, I was a guest in my own wedding. I still remember. I just went for like 2-3 days and just attended all the functions, and I was out of there.
My goodness.
So it was really funny. And then post that, when I finished everything, I returned a lot of signing amounts, and I decided to take off on a small 2-3 months kind of a holiday with my wife, because, I had been working, and I could not ignore my family also, and that's the time I thought, and I said that this running around the trees and everything, because I'm getting typecast and everybody is just got this thing, chocolate boy, this, that, and all, whatever. I need to start thinking, and I need to start planning things, because this running around the trees might take me ahead by just like 2-3 years, and then at some point people are going to be sick of it, and they'll want more, and that's when I started picking films like Munnabhai MBBS, like Haasil, like and later on films like A Wednesday and Tanu Weds Manu and Sahib Biwi Gangster, which were all always, a kind of giving a very different side to you. And when people saw Wednesday, they said, oh, this guy can be angry young man also. So each film was doing something new to you.
Apart from the being typecast as a chocolate boy hero, you as a creator, as an actor, were not getting very satisfied with those roles also. And that's what Was it that what you're looking for? Something different?
No, it's not the question of satisfaction. When you pick up a film, you are doing it with all your heart.
Okay.
It's just that you're very new to this entire thing, and you don't have anybody guiding you or anything. You know, the best thing that I still remember the best thing I heard from somebody was from Aditya Chopra when I'd gone to him, and I'd got, after Mohabbatein, I did most of the good films that I got and all that, whatever, but then there were a couple of them which were a little mature for my age, and because I had to play a husband and to an actress much senior to me, and also be a father to a very small kid and all that, whatever. So Adi told me one very nice thing. I tell the younger people also when I meet them. I still remember, I think I was telling Ashim also in one of the interviews for this show only. He said that, you know, right now, enjoy the young roles. The matured ones are going to finally come to you.
That's very sensible advice.
I mean, there was so much of depth in it because finally हर आदमी बुढ़ा होता है और फिर बाद में जाके आपको उम्र बढ़ती जाती है और आपको उस हिसाब से रोल्स जो है वो मिलते जाते हैं एंड so that made a lot of sense, and I said no to that particular role. And so, yeah, I mean, that's how things just kind of happened. And I still remember when Munnabhai MBBS was offered to me. It was Mere Yaar Ki Shaadi Hai was going to release, and Sanjay Gadvi was the director, and he was very, very close to Raju Hirani. And he said that, Raju wants to meet you and narrate something to you and all that, whatever. Till then, I was doing solo films and 2 hero projects and all, whatever. And that's how I ended up meeting Raju, and then we had the narration. And I said, wow, I mean, this is intense. This is nice. This role is really good. Because originally that was supposed to be for Sanju Baba.
Okay.
And then finally Sanju Baba ended up doing the main Munnabhai role, and that role was tweaked and made more this thing, because as far as I remember, when Sanju Baba was doing it, it was a more like a more aggressive role.
Mm-hmm.
This had to be toned down and made soft, and yeah, so those kind of films kept happening, and I started enjoying. Haasil I loved. I mean, that was again one film that I really enjoyed doing at that point of time. And then there was Yahan. How can I forget Yahan? That also happened while all these films were happening. So that shift was conscious. Yes, there were sleepless nights, because at that point of time, returning people signing amounts and deciding that, I'm going to go and do these kind of films which might not have any money for me, but then at least I'll be learning a lot from them. And so that's how I ended up choosing those kind of roles. And
what makes you decide that this role is for me?
So basically, till date, I love reading. Okay. I just love reading, and I love to read the scripts and then sit down with the directors and discuss as to how, whatever. And so yeah, I read the script. Firstly, I have to like the script also, and then my role. So even I've been through the phase of doing special appearances. I've reduced it a bit because I've realized one thing, that आप करते ऐसा हो कि okay fine, this year one special appearance for a friend or anybody would make a difference. But after 2 years, what happens is that all 3-4 of them come together and then start releasing together. And then you start feeling that this guy has gone into doing special appearances only. So that's when I realized that, I got to just take it easy on those kind of roles. But you still do it for friends, but it's okay.
So there has to be, when you're choosing a character, when you're choosing a script, of course the script has to work for you. Is there something specific you look for in the character that you'll be doing?
Nay, if I start looking for things in the character the way I want them to be, then I'll be sitting at home most of the time. I just believe in one thing that Gulzar Sahab said, that just keep yourself busy as an actor, just keep yourself busy, just keep working, and that's what I do. I hate it when I have to sit home for 20 days, 25 days, suddenly something has got cancelled or postponed or whatever. It's first 4-5 days are fantastic because you end up spending some quality time with your family and stuff like that. Post that, I start getting a little jittery. I want to work.
Sensible advice from Gulzar Sahab too. Are you a director's actor or are you a person who acts from your own?
Yeah, I'm both.
You're both.
I think it's very important to be a director's actor, because otherwise sometimes many times I've seen very good stories going haywire because the actor was making his own film and the director was making his own film. So it's very, very important that you are in sync with your director, your maker, because he is the person who has worked on that script with his writers, if he's not written it himself. And he knows the story the best. And I feel that all the discussions and everything that has to happen should always happen when you've read the script. Before you've started filming, you should sit down and, understand each other completely. So that finally when you go to shoot, it's you doing your job and he's doing his job. I think that's the way it goes. So I like to sit with the directors from before, understand everything from them as to what they're looking at. And then finally start working on it, and then go ahead and shoot and this thing.
When you're working on a role, and sometimes, as a performer, you always need the best around you in terms of people around you who can help the creative effort. But it's not always like that. As an actor, as a professional, I'm very curious to know, how do you give your best? If sometimes maybe you don't like your co-star, or something is not conducive.
These are very shallow things, like, not liking co-stars and all that, whatever. वो तो कभी होता है, कभी नहीं होता है, depends. Like, I've been very lucky because maybe I have not been in situations like this where I've had people who I don't like and I'm having to work with them. ऐसा मेरे साथ luckily कभी नहीं हुआ है. But yes, I think what happens with me is when I'm doing my job at that point of time, it does not matter who's standing in front of me. And even if I am in a situation like that, I think I have reached a level where I'll use it to my advantage. I'll try and use it in the scene in such a way that it gets something different out of me.
Lovely. How would you say your craft has changed or evolved over the years? You've been in this business for a while now. How have you grown as a performer?
Well, I think we've worked for so many years now on so many different characters, and I think I've learned from every film, from every director that I have worked with. The good thing is that I have not gotten stuck to any particular formula as to this is how I want to this thing. So I still feel that I'm absolutely blank right now. If any director can, kind of sit down with me and tell me that this is how I want it. And I think it's easier to fill in a blank slate than a slate which is full of stuff, you know what I mean. So मैं अभी भी blank हूँ. अगर मुझे आपको कुछ भी ऐसा दे दोगे, मैं उस पर मेहनत करूँगा और मैं वो करूँगा. But yes, I have an experience of about maybe almost 25 years, 27 years, maybe 30 years behind me, which will probably help me in doing whatever this thing. Otherwise, I consider myself a completely blank slate.
That's wonderful, after all these years, to consider that. And very few people can do that, I can tell you that.
Yeah, because I hate getting stuck to a formula, like this is only how I want to be. So there's so many times that people are stuck. They are like, ये लाइन तो वैसे ही चाहिए हिंदी में, उसी तरीके से हमको चाहिए जैसा वो है. ना यार, मैं कुछ अलग भी हम लोग ट्राई कर लेते हैं, कुछ डिफरेंट. नहीं वही करना है. फिर लो भाई, फिर यही लो तुम. फिर then it becomes like that. So yeah, I mean, but it's fun. It's okay.
What made you turn to producing?
No, I did. I produced a few Punjabi films in the middle. Wasn't really a good experience for me because I feel production is something that you need to be involved in 24/7. And I was busy shooting, and I had left it to other people to kind of this thing. So it wasn't really a good experience for me. So, but yes, I would love to one day get back to producing films, and this time give it all the time that I have. Take out time for that and do it.
Any particular projects that you think you'd be looking at producing? Kinds of projects?
I don't. It's not necessary that I have to be in the project that I'm producing. I could just be. I could just be producing it, and I could have somebody else acting in it, which would be this thing. So, but that depends. I mean, we've tried to work on a lot of people are. We've still got writers working on a lot of scripts. Let's see if something works out, then definitely. But this time, I will definitely take out all the time for
Look forward to seeing what you produce.
Thank you.
How did OTT change the game, Jimmy?
So OTT, I feel, has been a game changer for everybody, for all the creative people especially, because it's something that is new and again does not have a formula. So, though I still feel that the people sitting in powerful places in these platforms are still trying to work on a formula. I think they should not, because this is the golden time for OTT, in the sense that this is the time where different kind of stuff can come out. Allow that different kind of stuff to come out. You know what I mean? Something that your heart is saying that, oh, this script is lovely. This is amazing. But you're not producing it because it's not fitting into your formula. Don't do that. Then you're corrupting the space. So I feel OTT is where whatever little good is happening in terms of creativity is happening because of the fact that whoever is making it is not making it on the defensive, is making it on the offensive. Because he's clear about one thing, that, oh, I don't have to be worried about box office figures over here. So let me go all out and make something. And the people who are doing that are the people whose shows are working the most. You know what I mean? So I want to say this to the people in powerful positions in these platforms, across platforms, is that when somebody is getting something different out, which your heart is saying, this is fantastic, don't say no to it, or don't put it on the back burner. Just go all out with it, because what you realize is that this is something you wanted to do, you put it on the back burner, somebody else picked up something similar, which was not even half of what you have. And that thing ends up becoming a blockbuster. And then you will always be called as somebody who's trying to follow the trend.
Yeah. It's always such a gamble, I guess. And with so much money on the line, people don't want to take risks.
But the money is being put on the line for these kind of projects. By trying to make projects which are formula, that each one is formula, and then you're wasting that money. Might as well take the risk and put it. That's what OTT is. That's what happened in America with shows like that.
Hopefully somebody's listening and somebody's paying heed. Let's talk about Choona. What made you pick up this particular role?
So Choona has a very interesting story. I was doing Your Honor at a point when OTT had not really this thing. OTT was just going to come out at that point in time. It was something which was very new, and applause was. That the producers were planning a show, and Nivas came to me and he said that there is this particular thing, and it's a Israeli show, and I was looking at you doing it, and I suddenly said, okay, fine, send me the show. Send me the show. I watched it. I liked the role. I had issues with the show, but I loved the role. And then they sent me the script. I loved the script, and I said, "Yeah, this is a space which I'm not ever. I mean, nobody has. So if I'm one of the first people who is getting a chance to be a part of something like this, let me try it." So again, it was an experiment for me, and we ended up doing that show, and I enjoyed that space because you got so much of layering for the characters. And I said, this space is very good for creative people. So I would have discussions with Andy Nivas, with a lot of other directors, wherein we would talk about the freedom that the creative people have on these kind of shows. And then obviously COVID happened and everything boomed, and the shows, like kind of every show was doing so well, and everybody got to know about what OTT is across platforms and everything. And that's when I get a call from Mukesh. And so Mukesh I've known him since years. He's been really close. And he always, when he feels something is really interesting, is when he calls me and tells me that, there's... So I said, okay, fine, we'll this thing it. So I was sent the script. I read the entire script. I loved the script. But I had one issue. I said, I've done quite a few of these powerful UP guy kind of roles. So, I'll pass it. So by the time I was shooting for the second season of Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Again, after a few days, Pushy would call me, "Oh, you have to do it." And Mukesh would, and this thing. And I said, "Yeah, I'll come and have another coffee with you to convince you." I can't do it, yeah. I love this space. I'm using it for myself. I don't want to do something that I've already done before. Quite a few coffees down, quite a few meetings down, he ended up convincing me that that we'll do it very differently, don't worry. And that's how it happened. So each time I would go sit with him, I was like, नहीं हो सकता यार. It is like इतने पावरफुल मैंने रोल्स किए हैं, साइबी गैंगस्टर में किया है, ये है वो, मैं कैसे अलग करूँगा इसको. ऊपर से तुमने पहनाना भी मुझे वही बंद गला है और सारा कुछ. He said, नहीं, I'll do it very differently. You do it. करते कराते. Then I'm glad that I did it, because it was a lot of hard work, because those times were also not very easy with COVID and everything like that. But I am so glad that I did this show, because when I watched some stuff, when I was dubbing for it in English, for the English version of Netflix, that's the time I realized. I said, wow, this is amazing. So yeah, I mean,
the character, you said, is spiteful yet appealing. How did you get into the character? Because it's a very different character. He's ruthless in a way, but he's also very gullible in another way. Shukla ji.
No, so again, what I did was that I just sat with Pushy, did a lot of readings, with the intention that how can we make it different. Then one day I just thought, I said, yeah, whatever I'm reading, whatever I'm listening with this guy, I mean, it does not matter. It's a very different story, and it's a very different character, and he looks very different to all the other characters that I've done before. So I should just follow this director. Mm-hmm. And do the role. So I just followed him.
Okay.
I mean, he was clear as to Shukla is the kind of person who is unpredictable. Suddenly, he is sitting in a very serious mood, and you will expect that this guy is going to now blast out. But he'll just smile and say something else only. In the same way, sometimes he's in a happy mood, suddenly he's just going to blast out. So there's that unpredictability that was there in Shukla. Was one of those things were worked out. In this scene, he's going to be talking like this. In this scene, he's going to be this thing. So that main thing was the unpredictable nature of this man.
Did you observe politicians? Did you study how they... Nothing of that sort. So there was none of that research that happened for you. The director's vision was complete enough for you.
Yeah, so it's okay. You have to have this thing. So I've had some really nice compliments, from people who watched maybe 2 episodes or 3 and all that, whatever. That Shukla is stylish and Shukla is this thing. He's raw. I mean, we've kept him raw, but there is a style to him. There is in his meanness also, there is an appeal. There is this thing, which I was also quite surprised. I mean, I watched 2-3 episodes over here. I was quite surprised. I said, okay, it's come out good. So
did he surprise you, Shukla? Did he become unpredictable for you as an actor playing him? Because you know what is written...
Like I said, I've been in that zone before. So it's not that it was this thing, but when I was watching it, in places he has really surprised me, because otherwise I'm a very critical person as far as I'm concerned. When I see myself, I'm always thinking that, I could have done this like this. I could have just done it in a different way, whatever. But here I think there are a lot of places where I was like, oh wow, when did I do that? So there were things that happen when you're shooting for something continuously and you're in that zone, and the director is fantastic. So he's very suddenly we are shooting a patchwork also of some small little thing where you feel that, okay, fine, this is how it's supposed to be, and suddenly he'll come and whisper in your ear. He says, oh, that unpredictableness, we just need to pitch it up a little bit. And suddenly you'll say, yeah. And so it's very important to have a very good director, and it makes things so much more easier.
Shooting in the times of COVID, what were the challenges?
Everything was a challenge. Everything. I mean, from the time you would get up to... But I think by the time we had all gotten used to it, we knew that we have to wear a mask in the morning. We knew that we have to go down. We have to... When we walk onto the sets, we have to have those checks for everybody, every few days, doctors would come, this I'm talking about Lucknow, and do a test. So it was very risky, I mean, in the sense that suddenly if 2 people also this thing, then there used to be like a complete mess. And with these guys, I think I still remember they had gone for another schedule in Lucknow, and when they were like, I think midway or something, and I was supposed to join them in the last leg for the balance portion, because I had finished my major chunk in the first one, luckily. So towards the first one also, they got COVID and they had to wrap up like maybe 7-10 days before schedule.
Oh.
And the second one also, I was supposed to join them towards the end just for a couple of days, 2-3 days patchwork or whatever, till I got the news that they've all been locked up in their hotels because of whatever, they have to pack up and come back. And so I ended up doing that portion over here.
Any anecdotes from shooting Choona that, still stay with you from the shoot itself?
The pain.
The pain of...
The pain of not sleeping. Our director had found a location which was 2 hours away from Lucknow and which had no hotels close by. Otherwise, normally I'm the kind of person I always like to be closer to the location. It saves me that much time, gives me another few hours of sleep. But even if it's like a small room somewhere, whatever, as long as it's got the basics right, I would still prefer to stay close to the location. And there was nothing, and we had to drive, and his call times used to be like before sunrise. And so you would reach your hotel at night, late at night, barely sleep for a couple of hours, and you had to wake up.
Sounds torturous.
And that happened for 10, 12 days. Everything else was nice. I wouldn't say fantastic, but yeah. So, but then when you look at the work, you forget about all these things. You say, "Nahi yaar, whatever it was beautiful." Because the thing is not that. The thing is that in those kind of times when your immune system has to be up by getting proper rest and everything, you are saying, "Ah, bell mujhe maar." You know what I mean?
So you were lucky you got through unscathed through the whole thing.
So, I mean, yeah, because each day I would go and tell him that you will have blood on your hands, bro. If something happens to me.
That will be real Choona.
And yeah, I mean, apart from that, I think fantastic. Our DOP was from UK, Will, and I used to think that ये भाई साहब को नहीं हो रहा है तो फिर हम लोग तो ठीक ही है. And so yeah, I mean, it was hectic. It was one of the most hectic things that we've done. But when you look at it, and you say, you forget about everything. You say, it's amazing.
Lovely. So Jimmy, for somebody coming into the business now, with your years of experience, what advice would you give them?
Get proper training and come. It's going to help you. Because right now the world is becoming too much of like, bas, anybody is taking a camera, shooting anything, and just because it's becoming a little viral, he would think that he's a filmmaker. But cinema is something else, boss. And I'm a student of cinema, and I would say that we can't have mad people making cinema, without knowing about cinema. So learn the craft and then come here, because just shooting with an iPhone will not make you a filmmaker.
And for performers, the training and anything intrinsic?
Anything. I'm talking about, for filmmakers, I'm talking about learning filmmaking. For actors, I'm saying
train in the craft.
Train in the craft. Otherwise, everybody is acting in front of the iPhone today, or everybody is performing and this thing. So where do you stand? At least you'll have that one proof of your training with you if you train and come. You know what I mean?
Very sound advice. I'm going to move into a rapid fire.
Yes.
I think you answered that, but I'll ask you again. Actor or producer?
Actor.
Actor. Jimmy before Mohabbatein or Jimmy after Mohabbatein?
As a performer in my career, obviously after Mohabbatein.
After Mohabbatein. Yeah. What do you think was your best role ever?
I think I've been lucky to have quite a few good films to my this thing, and also... but yes, one particular role that did take quite out of me, and wherein I enjoyed doing each scene that I did in that one was Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
A role you wish you had done?
Oh, I wish I would have done so many roles there, but had they come to me.
And if you weren't an actor, what do you think you would be?
If my father's sister had mustaches, she would have been my chacha. So I don't think of ifs and buts. Yeah. I was destined to be an actor. I was destined to be in this film industry, and here I am.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your time, Jimmy, and all the very best with Choona and all the work you do. And
Thank
looking
you so
forward
much,
to
man.
seeing the rest
Pleasure,
of it.
Pleasure speaking to you. Pleasure. Thank you.
And with that, it is a wrap on this episode of Chasing Creativity. This is Kiran Manral signing out. We were chatting with Jimmy Shergill, whose series Choona drops on Netflix end September. Do catch it, and see you next week.